Malala Yousafzai's name is synonymous with courage, activism, and an unwavering commitment to education. Her story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the profound impact that one person can have in the face of oppression. Malala's journey to becoming a global symbol of resistance against extremism began in the Swat Valley of Pakistan, an area once known for its serene beauty, but now remembered for the horrors of Taliban rule. Her life became the battleground for something as fundamental as education, a right that millions of girls are still fighting for today. The Swat Valley, often referred to as the Switzerland of Pakistan, was a place of stunning natural beauty, with lush green mountains and crystal-clear rivers. It was a hub for education, culture, and diversity, where families valued education for both their sons and daughters. The valley was home to thousands of children eager to learn, and schools were abundant, with an impressive number of girls enrolled in education. However, this peaceful paradise was shattered when the Taliban took control of the region in the mid-2000s. They enforced their strict interpretation of Sharia law, bringing an end to the vibrant educational environment that had once flourished. The Taliban's arrival marked the beginning of widespread fear and suppression, especially for girls, who were now banned from attending school. Malala, a young girl with a thirst for knowledge, was among those whose dreams were under threat. She was only 11 years old when the Taliban's influence began to choke the life out of the valley. The streets that were once filled with the sounds of children playing and laughing were now eerily silent. The bright school uniforms, once worn with pride, were replaced by fear and silence. Education was no longer a right. It had become a defiance. Despite the looming threat of the Taliban, Malala's desire for education remained unshaken. As a young girl with a natural curiosity and intelligence, she refused to accept the status quo. Her father, Malala Yousafzai, who was an educator himself, was a driving force in her life. He believed in the power of education to bring about social change and encouraged Malala to pursue her studies even when it was becoming increasingly dangerous to do so. In 2009, when Malala was just 12, she began writing a blog for BBC Urdu under the pseudonym Gul Makai. The blog was a personal account of her life under the Taliban's oppressive rule, detailing the struggles she faced as a girl in a society that was trying to erase her voice. Through her blog, Malala became an early advocate for girls' education, sharing the challenges faced by millions of girls in Pakistan and around the world who were denied the right to learn. Her words were powerful and poignant, resonating with many outside of her immediate community. The world began to take notice. However, as Malala's influence grew, so did the danger surrounding her. The Taliban, threatened by her defiance, began to take notice of this young girl, who refused to be silenced. October 9, 2012, was a day that changed the course of history. Malala was on her way home from school when she, along with two friends, was boarded on a school bus in the Swat Valley. The bus had just left the school grounds when a Taliban gunman approached the vehicle. He asked, "Who is Malala?" And then, without hesitation, he fired a bullet directly into her head. The world was left in shock. Malala, a girl who had become a voice for millions of girls who dream of an education, was now lying in a hospital bed, fighting for her life. The bullet pierced her skull and damaged her brain, but her will to survive was stronger than the violence that sought to silence her. Malala was rushed to the hospital, and her survival was nothing short of a miracle. Doctors worked tirelessly to save her, but the attack had left her with significant injuries. Her road to recovery was long, and the trauma she endured was unimaginable. But Malala's spirit was unbroken. She had survived a murder attempt, but she did not back down. Instead, her voice grew louder. The assassination attempt on Malala sparked global outrage. People from all walks of life, from world leaders to ordinary citizens, rallied in her support. The attack had struck at the heart of what Malala represented: the fight for equal access to education. The world was watching, and they weren't going to let this act of terror go unchallenged. International organizations, such as the United Nations, quickly stepped in, condemning the violence and reaffirming the importance of education as a fundamental human right. The hashtag #IamMalala campaign took off, with millions of people from around the world expressing their solidarity with her. Malala's recovery became a symbol of the resilience of all girls and women who are denied their right to education. While the Taliban had intended to silence her, they had only amplified her message. Malala had become an icon, a global symbol of resistance against extremism and oppression. After her recovery, Malala continued her advocacy for girls' education. She didn't just talk about the importance of education, she lived it. She used her newfound platform to speak out at the United Nations and other global forums. In 2013, at just 16 years old, she delivered a moving speech at the UN headquarters in New York, calling for the empowerment of girls through education. Her message was simple yet profound. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Malala's words resonated with people everywhere. She had gone from a victim of an attempted assassination to one of the most powerful voices advocating for global change. The progress in the fight for education for all, particularly for girls, became a central focus of her life. Malala founded the Malala Fund, an organization dedicated to championing girls' education worldwide and advocating for policies that prioritize the education of girls in developing countries. Malala's journey was not without obstacles. The Taliban continued to issue threats against her, and there were many who sought to undermine her work. However, the power dynamic began to shift. What the Taliban intended to do, silence her, had the opposite effect. Malala became a global icon for the fight against extremism and violence, and her advocacy efforts made real, lasting change. In 2014, Malala was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, making her the youngest recipient of a prestigious award at the age of 17. This recognition was not just for her survival, but for her courage in the face of oppression. Malala's story had become a beacon of hope for millions of girls who, like her, yearn for the right to learn. The recognition did not stop there. As Malala's voice continued to grow, so did the global commitment to ending barriers to girls' education. Policies were enacted, schools were built, and more girls were able to attend school in countries where education was previously denied to them. Malala's journey is far from over. While she has achieved much, there is still much to be done. The barriers that prevent girls from receiving an education are still deeply entrenched in many parts of the world. Gender inequality, cultural norms, poverty, and conflict continue to hinder the education of millions of girls. Malala's fight has become a rallying cry for the millions of girls who still face the same obstacles she did in Swat Valley. The fight for education is not just about a single individual. It is about the collective effort to ensure that every child, regardless of gender, background, or circumstance, has the opportunity to learn and grow. Malala continues to work tirelessly to promote the rights of girls and women through education, advocating for change at the global level. Her story is a reminder that while progress has been made, the fight is ongoing. The world cannot afford to forget the millions of girls still waiting for the opportunity to learn. Malala's story is one of incredible resilience, and it teaches us a profound lesson. Education is not just a privilege. It is a fundamental right that everyone deserves, regardless of where they are born or the circumstances they face. No matter how powerful the forces of oppression may seem, the will to fight for what is right can never be extinguished. One voice, one story, and one person willing to stand up can change the world.